Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Renu. I'm ready with yet another video on CEC and TR to PR pathway. But before I discuss various timelines, I would like to talk a little more about the formats. A lot of you are at the stage where you are waiting for the AOR, or you might have received the ADR and just waiting for the PR confirmation portal. So here I'm ready with the first format is PR confirmation portal, how exactly it looks like. Onto the right side, you must be seeing the PCC. So this is a letter how exactly IRCC would ask you for police clearance certificate for yourself and for your dependent in case if you have. Another format is how exactly the biometric refund letter would look like, and then we'll dive into various timelines. So on to the left side, I'm going to read sentence by sentence. Subject line IRCC permanent resident portal. If you see here's PR confirmation and both in English and French, November 10th. Your application for permanent residence has been approved. Now, this would be at a stage where you have already submitted the required documents and you're waiting for the PR confirmation portal. Now, getting the ADR is not a mandatory requirement in case if you have already submitted all the required documents at the time of submission on May 6th or May 6th onwards, you don't need to worry about that. So you might be able to get AOR and after that directly the PR confirmation portal. In case if there have been a lot of requirements, IRCC would definitely ask you for the ADR, so you don't need to get panic about. If you want to raise a web form after receiving the AOR, it's fine. Otherwise, it's again not required unless and until it's not asked by IRCC. After that, this is the PR confirmation portal. Now let's read on to it. Your application for permanent residence has been approved. The final steps in processing your application is to confirm your permanent residence and create your permanent resident card. You will complete this process through the permanent residence portal. In the portal, you will confirm that you and your dependents are in Canada, provide your Canadian address, and submit your photo to create your permanent resident card. You need to access the portal yourself. Your representative cannot access the portal on your behalf. If you are a representative and receiving this message on behalf of a client, you must forward the message to your client. So in case, make sure that if you have applied through a third party, make sure you are intact and just be in touch with him or her regularly, so you'll be able to get all kind of updates. The next step says reply to this email and confirm the email address you want to use. As the principal applicant, you will act on behalf of your dependents. If you would prefer your dependents to have their own accounts, please indicate so in your reply to this email. So usually if you are in Canada, like physically present in Canada, and your spouse is like an outland spouse, and you want to give your spouse authority where she or he can actually process the PPR and all the requirements set by the IRCC, so they can initiate from India or from their native country. You can always give that or indicate that in your reply to IRCC, so they can email the separate information to her email address and then main one to you. Now, in your reply to this email, copy and paste this template and fill in the information for yourself and for each member of your family. If you are not sure of the exact date of your entries to Canada, so this is mainly for the outland spouse. So if you're not sure about them, you can provide your best estimate. Name, UCI, and email. Now, I would highly recommend in case if you have already received AOR, don't plan to go out of Canada. Otherwise, I wouldn't say it's gonna reject your application or your case would be refused. However, it's gonna just linger on the processing time. So don't waste that time for sure. Moving on to another format, it's for police clearance certificate. So onto the right side, this usually is a basic requirement. Wherever you have resided for more than 6 months, you have to get the police certificate from that particular country to IRCC. And that is if you have attained the age of 18. Quoting an example here, if you are 17-year-old and you moved out of your home country, for say you were born in India and you came to Canada at the age of 17 plus, you don't need a PCC from India. Just keep that in mind. And in case you have confusion, you can write back to me. We are continuing to review your application for admission to Canada. I'm reading this certificate now. We require an updated original police certificate for you and your members of your family who are 18 years of age or older. According to our record, we will need certificate for the following individuals. So this is for the principal applicant, the first one, and the second one is for the dependent. In case if you are the only one, like an individual applicant, you don't need to get the police clearance certificate for your spouse. In order to obtain a police certificate, please refer to the following website. So they will just give you the information. And the above information or the document must be received within 60 days from the date of this correspondence. Guys, most of you must have confusion when at what stage our case would reject it. I would strongly recommend whenever IRCC asks you for any document within that time period, please submit that. Otherwise, it's likely to get refused or your case would be jeopardized. Now let's read this. If this deadline is not met, your application will be assessed based on the information that was provided with your application, and your application could be rejected. This is exactly I was referring to. Please upload these documents to your IRCC secure account. So this is the IRCC secure account. By this stage, you must have it all. And then, if the documents are not already in English or French, all documents must be accompanied by English or French translations by certified translator. Just give you an overview. If you have any document in Hindi language, you have to get it translated, but don't forget to attach the Hindi version of that document. So you have to combine both the documents and submit to IRCC. Moving on to another format, this is now in case if you have already submitted biometric as a part of your previous application, like a study permit or a work permit, you don't have to redo it. So most of you must have submitted the biometric fees. So at that stage, IRCC would refund. So this is exactly it looks like your date, good day. This is in reference to your application for permanent residence in Canada. I'm reading it now. Although fees were paid related to biometric collection, you are not required to complete biometric assessment for this application at this time. A refund has been initiated. If you paid by credit card, it will be credited back to your credit card account. Otherwise, a check will be mailed to you at the mailing address provided in your application in approximately 6 weeks to 8 weeks time period. So for further information, you can always visit this link. And yeah, this is a refund policy. And I've also explained step by step how you can initiate the refund process in my previous video, and the link is in the description box below. Also, how you can link up your application, the link is in the description box below, and there are various links, so you can always go and check it out. So at this stage, for those who have not subscribed to my channel, I would highly recommend, because I have been covering a lot on immigration to Canada. These days, mainly on TR to PR pathway, CEC, and federal skilled worker programs on and off, depending upon the updates what I receive. All right, so the first timeline is for international graduates, May 6th at 12:22 p.m. Eastern Time. He was able to link up the application on July 27, and the AOR was received with the BIL, so that's a biometric instruction letter, July 28th. Medicals were passed on September 19th itself. Now, at this stage, after September 19th, of course, the applicant got panicked because he wasn't getting any response from IRCC. So he sent a lot of, he raised a lot of IRCC web forms, but there was no update until November 10th. So that was ghost update. Now, in case if you would like to raise any web form, you definitely can do that. Most of you are at a stage where you have not received AOR or ADR. Now, as a rule set by IRCC, they are not going to accept any application or any document unless and until it's not been asked. And onto the website it is written, we are not going to accept any unsolicited document. However, if you would like to raise a web form, you definitely can do that. I have explained the process in my previous video. The link should be in description box below. So you can always raise a web form for any document which you think that IRCC should have, or you might have made any kind of a flaws or mistake at the time of submission, because a lot of you were overwhelmed, and that's understandable. But this is not going to do any harm to your application for sure. All right, so now he got the PR confirmation portal. That was on November 12th. Moving on to another timeline is for non-healthcare and international graduate streams. So I have two timelines here. The first one is covering the stream B. He has applied on May 6th, the same day, 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm going to give you a little understanding here. On November 12th, he got the PR confirmation portal. In this case, the applicant has applied under IG, that's International Graduate, at 4:10 p.m. Eastern time, submitted everything upfront, and he's got the biometric request on November 12th itself. There was a gap, of course, 2 months gap between your study time, between his study time period. So he can always raise the web form, and you can also do it in case if you would like to. Usually the stream B is getting quicker response these days compared to international graduate. Why I'm saying is that international graduates, whosoever has applied from May 6th to May 10th, are the one actually getting the response, and IRCC is actively assessing application from 12 to 4:30, I would say, uh, for international graduates. However, for stream A and stream B, they even have touched the cases of June and July also. So yeah, that's the update. All right, moving on to another timeline is for international graduates, May 6th at 3:28 p.m. Eastern time. The applicant, link up his application using UCI plus family name. Now again, you can only try to link up your application. It's done by centralized system to update the information on GCMS. So unless and until it's not done, you will not be able to link up the application. And the process has been explained in one of my video. The link is in the description box below. October 29th is the day. Now here, medical passed October 28th, and ADR for PCC on October 29th. There was a ghost updates, like 4 ghost updates has been received under this application, November 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And I've also explained how exactly the ghost update looks like in my previous video. Now in this portal confirmation mail, so this is the format exactly I've shared with you. So November 9th, where portal credentials were received 3 hours later, because this person has updated his photograph and his date of birth and his mailing address right away, and that's how he was able to get ECOPR on November 12th. After that, you have to link your PR card, and that's what would take him another 4 to 6 weeks time period in receiving the PR card. Now, IRCC did not ask for medicals. So the previous medicals, what he has done as a part of his study permit in 2019 was submitted, and it was approved by IRCC. There's one more thing I wanted to explain here. He left the full-time job under which he has applied. So he started new job with new employer. Although under international graduate, there was no hard and fast rule for any knock like NOC or any experience. However, even if you are in stream A or stream B, general category, or in French category, if you have left the previous organization, you don't need to worry about that. You can only update IRCC with your pay stubs and reference letter only if it's asked. Yeah, because IRCC would consider you if you have applied under that particular NOC, and you should be working on May 6th. That's a requirement. Even if you leave the company on May 7th, it's none of their business. Moving on to another timeline is for non-healthcare. Now this applicant is applied on May 6th at 12:27 p.m. Eastern time. Biometric instruction letter was on July 23rd, and AOR was received on July 27th itself. Now if you see here, medicals were passed, like he saw the update in his portal 28th, and he got an update. When you check your portal, you will get the update, and that's what exactly he saw. Do not need medicals, because it was all confirmed. There was one ghost update November 5th, and then again update on November 8th that medicals passed, and then portal request was on November 9th itself. The very next day, he uploaded his address and his picture and got the ECOPR on November 12th. In this case, there was no ADR and he used the old medicals that was of 2016 itself. All right, another timeline is for international graduate, May 6th. Medicals were passed on August 17th, and the very same day he got the biometric request. A day later, he got the AOR, that was on August 18th, and biometric was submitted on August 18th itself. There was no ADR and no ghost updates. Portal request was on November 10th, and portal credentials were on November 12th around 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. There was an ECOPR on November 12th around 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So this is another timeline for international graduate. Moving on to our CEC, that's Canadian Experience class. So this applicant has applied on June 5th. He got the ITA on June 10th. Then there was a AOR on June 26th. He passed the medical exam and biometrics on October 21st. Thereafter, PR confirmation portal, that was on October 27th at 5:25 p.m. He was able to receive the link at 11:08 p.m. He submitted the mailing address and photo on October 28th and was able to receive the ECOPR on October 28th. Now he's linked up his PR card to GC on November 3rd, and PR card was mailed to him on November 9th itself, and he was able to receive the PR card on November 12th. So this is exactly the timeline would look like for CEC category. Now let's move on to our next update. Now for PNP, if you would like to have more update, I can certainly cover in the future, but this is just a CIC report, express entry, second lowest CRS for a PNP draw during the pandemic. So this is really good news for those who have applied under provincial nominee program. So where Canada has invited, like Canadian government has issued 775 express entry candidates to apply for PR. I will be covering a little more in detail. If you guys are interested, you can always write back to me. But federal skilled worker programs, there's no much update. However, I have covered a couple of videos in my previous under my channel, so you can go and check it out. For those who have not subscribed, definitely I would highly recommend. So let's if you have any confusion or queries, you can always write back to me. I think this is all for today, and for those who would like to know little more about the PR, like TR to PR pathway, about the program, especially the police clearance certificate and medicals, my strong recommendation would be to please go and check it out on cic.gc.ca website. You will get all the information, when exactly medicals are required, whether it's mandatory to get the PCC from each country wherever you have resided for less than 6 months or no. Although I've covered it all, but if you still have any confusion, you can always go and check more details. Like you can always go and check more details under this program. And yeah, this is all for today. I hope this makes sense to you. And if you have any confusion, you can always write back to me. Till then, take care and stay safe, guys. Bye.